boys, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be taking you through the step-by-step guide of what you should expect after finishing school. And the reason I'm doing this is because I remember when I left school and I didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing. And if I didn't accidentally avoid traps and make specific steps to avoid certain traps, I would have been an entirely different man right now, and not in a good way either. So I've reversed engineered the steps that I've made, and I'm going to take you through it step by step exactly what you need to be doing and what to expect after finishing school. Firstly, guys, we need to address friends, because when you finish school, you might have, you know, a big group of friends and you're like, yeah, besties for life, man. Oh yeah. What you need to understand, and this is the way of the world, and this might be a bit of a bitter pill for you to swallow, but it's very true and it's going to make you a better man, so listen up. Your friendship dynamics in school do not translate into the real world. Much like how you see in sort of prison environments, you know, you get this tribalism, you get the whites hanging out with the whites, you get the blacks hanging out with the blacks, you get the Mexicans with the Mexicans, so on, right? It's kind of the same in school because it's an enclosed environment, almost prison-like. The reality is, when you do step out into the real world, you might find that you don't relate with as many of those people as you might have thought initially, and that's totally fine. Maybe one of your friends goes off to a different university and starts to just become a different person. Maybe they start to go to drum and bass raves and do a bunch of drugs. Maybe you just don't speak anymore. Maybe there's no hard feelings, but you just don't really align anymore, and that's totally fine. That can happen too. Here's a bit of truth that you need to know. You will be lucky to leave school with a single friend who's actually riding with you. A single one. Most people that I speak to, they don't have a single friend that they still speak to from school today. So these friendships, they are fickle. And something else you need to know as well is, because of this sort of tribal prison-like friendship dynamic you have, you might not know or understand that once you leave school, you actually need to maintain your friendships. When you're in school, it's automatic. You go in, you go to lunch together, you go to class together, and then you go home. Once you leave school, if you want to actually maintain friendships with people, you need to actually make a conscious effort in doing that. You don't just show up to places and they're there anymore, you know? So that's something to bear in mind as well. Maintaining these friendships means that you need to provide them some sort of value. You can't really be friends with them just because it's like, you know, strength in numbers anymore. You actually need to provide some sort of tangible value to their lives, whether that's you're funny, which is one of my strengths, and that's gotten me into, like, you know, rooms with very fucking interesting and high performing people. Whether you're knowledgeable, whether your goals align and you can provide feedback in real time to one another. What I'm saying is, it's no longer good enough to just sort of show up, and you'll come to learn this. And on the flip side, you'll lose a lot of friends because as you realize that they actually aren't providing you really any value apart from just showing up and being numbers, and maybe you chat to them because you're bored in between your classes. That's fine. You want to keep a tight circle anyway. You don't want people around who just yap and gossip. You don't want people like that. I remember when I was in school, I was like super convinced that like I had to have a bunch of friends, which I failed at, but I convinced myself that, like, you know, having as many friends as possible is good. I need more friends, even if they don't even fucking align with me. I want to impress everyone somehow. I want to be on good terms with everyone somehow, right? It's not the case. The fact is, if you want to actually move the needle in life, you want to keep a tight circle, you want to reduce the amount of noise and the amount of variables and the amount of people yapping away in your ear. And you don't necessarily need to be a people pleaser. You know, if you want to actually be successful, you're going to piss a lot of people off, and that's totally fine. A lot of people are going to leave your life. You'll be very lucky if anyone stays from school. But you need to understand this. You are always better off being alone, lonely, than hanging out with people who have a negative influence on your life 100% of the time. Once you think of this as delayed versus instant gratification, this becomes a lot easier, because you might be feeling really alone and you might be tempted to reach out to that friend who fucking goes to the pub every weekend, goes to the raves and does drugs and shit, and it's like, you might be craving that social interaction, which is natural, by the way. We're social creatures. I'm the exact same. Sometimes when I have, like, you know, deep work periods and I've locked myself in my house recording these videos for you guys for a week or so, I start to feel like, maybe I should speak to another human. But you need to understand that if you don't have people around you in your life who can serve as some sort of positive influence, or at least fucking neutral, then you're much, much better off actually feeling alone, even though that is very painful. Trust me, I've been there. I have felt absolute isolation and loneliness, and I feel for you, I really do. But I promise you, it's far better to feel that than have your self-esteem chipped away by hanging out with a bunch of dickheads who don't value you. They're getting you to do silly things. They're fucking ruining your trajectory, okay? It's not a good trade-off. Instant versus delayed gratification. Delayed gratification by feeling alone now and building so that you can actually become someone who much better people want to hang out with. Sam, what do I do after school? I've been presented this life path of, you know, school, college, uni, job, die, you know? Now, I have very strong views on this, and I will share them with you because I genuinely believe them. And I understand this might offend some people, but I'm just going to be very honest with how I feel about higher education. I really do think it's a trap for a lot of young people. Now, I want to caveat this by saying, if you are a person who knows what they want to do, you're passionate about it, if you want to be someone like a doctor, a policeman, a fireman, a profession which requires you to get a higher education, you have my absolute blessing to do that. And you don't just have my blessing, you have my absolute respect. You really do. However, most people leaving school, they don't know what they want to do yet. They've not even been able to explore because they've been bogged down by endless bullshit. You have to learn the powerhouse of the cell. You have to, mate. You need to know how photosynthesis works, bro. You've not actually had time to explore your own passions most of the time. So you end up sort of taking this AFK life path of like, yeah, okay, I'll just go through the motions and see where I land. I'll go to the college, I'll go to uni, and yeah, I'll get this job and, you know, this shit. And you never actually allow yourself time to figure this shit out, which we're going to explore more in a second, but just on higher education, like, I'm going to speak for the UK experience because that's where I'm from and that's what I know, but I imagine it's quite similar everywhere else in the world. Perhaps not as bad, but in higher education in the UK, there is an absolutely rampant drug problem and casual sex problem. You pay £60,000 to go to uni, or whatever amount you pay now, and you essentially pick up a drug habit, and you also get a double-digit body count. It's like the worst trade offer in history. You pay £60,000, develop a cocaine habit, have sex with many low-quality women, and in return, you get a piece of paper which defines your worth to the marketplace. I think it's absolute bullshit. If you don't have a specific idea of what you want to do when you leave school, you should not go into higher education. You really shouldn't. I'm incredibly lucky, and this is one of the traps which I accidentally avoided because I developed such terrible mental health issues that I genuinely couldn't even go to higher education if I wanted to. I was about 3/4 through my first year of college, and one morning I woke up, and this is typically how This is typically how mental breakdowns go. Woke up in the morning, I had bought a new pair of shoes, which is very rare for me because I did not have much money. I bought this new pair of shoes, I put them on in the morning, and they were just a bit too tight and they were rubbing a little bit. They were a little bit uncomfortable. And just that was enough for me to just like burst out into tears and just like hysterically cry. You might be confused, like, Sam, why would you cry over that? I wasn't crying because of the shoes. That was a mild inconvenience. I was crying because that was just simply the final straw which broke the camel's back, you know. I had had enough. I couldn't actually handle it anymore. And that was that. After that, I got diagnosed with my mental illnesses officially. And then I dropped out of college, which is one of the best things that could have happened to me for two reasons, which one is very funny. The college I was going to was so rough and shit that 6 months after my mental breakdown, they actually ended up closing, which means everyone that was going to my college had to go to a different college and restart entirely anyway, which means I wasted about 1 year and 3 months for absolutely nothing. So I was actually ahead of the curve in terms of dropping out. So in that way, I'm very lucky, but also because if I didn't have that mental breakdown, if things were just like maybe 10% better for me, I might have ended up in university. And with my personality type, I would have 100% fallen into major drug habits. And with drug habits comes nothing good: a fuck ton of casual sex, a fuck ton of drinking, wasting a bunch of time, burning a bunch of cash, and getting incredibly depressed and dependent on these highs that I would impose upon myself by taking these drugs. And you know what? I did actually have a drug phase. You know, when I was about 22, I started to come out of my shell a little bit, and I reached out to a few of my old friends, and it sort of spiraled into me ending up having about a 6-month period where once a week I would go out and I'd do some drugs, which wasn't good at all. But that's far better than doing it for fucking 3 years through university, or however long it would have been. And moreover, probably doing it more than once a fucking week, because like I say, drugs are rampant in universities. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, if I went to university, I would have ended up with an MDMA girlfriend who I take drugs with, and she cheats on me for a bump of cocaine. And that probably would have been another straw which broke the camel's back, which probably would have led to me not being here anymore, perhaps. You know, who knows, butterfly effect and all that. I know for a fact though that I am very lucky to have escaped higher education, because there's nothing good for me there. And I didn't have a clear vision on what I wanted to do, and I would have ended up doing a bunch of crap and starting some bullshit job after, and probably staying there for the rest of my life and living a very below average existence. And just so you get an idea of how important your education is, I genuinely don't know what my qualifications are. I don't know them. So when you're feeling like very anxious coming up to your results day, just remember that. I don't even know what mine are. I was a very average student, I know that. So here's what you need to do, guys, when you finish school, because school is mandatory. You should do school because you learn just fucking basics of, like, you do learn a bunch of bullshit too, but you also learn like basics, like how to read. You know, reading's important because that means you can read the fucking information on the screen. You know, that's ideal. So you need to do school, but you don't need to go into higher education like college, uni, or however it's structured in your country. What you should do, which is what I accidentally did with my mental breakdown, is you should take time away from the bullshit, recalibrate, undo the programming. You're so vulnerable to like programming between the ages of, like, you know, 12 to fucking 18. You'll have teachers telling you this is how you become successful, this is how you do it, you have to do this and this is how the world works, and all these things as a young man, they're pushed onto you to disempower you. If I didn't have that mental breakdown, and if I didn't take those years away from the slave programming, the education system, I would have had the idea that success means you get an A star in your fucking biology exam, and then you end up getting, you know, 60k a year or something, I don't know, in a job, which is respectable, but it's not the only fucking pathway to success. If that's what success looks like to you, fair enough. But when I left school, I had like a very linear idea of what success looked like that was imposed upon me by the education system, with a bunch of other fucking bullshit, which I'm not going to go into. You guys know the psyops, the bullshit that is pushed onto young men to disempower us, and I'm not going to go into it, but you need time away from the noise. You need to figure shit out for yourself. You need to experience life outside of this fucking NPC life path that they've set up for young people to go through. Find your actual passions. Maybe you've always been into YouTube. How do you build a passion into YouTube? Well, I'm a bit introverted, so I can't really be on camera myself. And even if I wasn't introverted, man, it takes a long time to build a YouTube channel, and I'm gonna need the help of other people to do it. But what can I do now to actually, you know, start getting into at least the YouTube ecosystem? Mine was video editing. I've always loved YouTube. I've also always had an inclination towards making my own shit, and specifically video editing in the sense of like injecting my humor through edits. So that's what I did. I picked up my fucking passion, which I've had from a very young age, and I just sort of did more of that with my free time, and I got better. I invested in getting better at the skill. Most of the shit you can buy to actually get better at your passion is going to get you much further in life than if you was to buy into higher education. And in this time off, you can have a small hustle. And I'm not saying you need to try and be a fucking internet entrepreneur. What color's your baguette and all that shit? You can literally just have a normal ass fucking job at this point. Maybe you're fucking doing some barista shit. Maybe you're flipping burgers. Maybe you're stacking some shelves. Whatever, dude. That's fine. That's fucking character development, man. That's fucking character development. When I was in school, I had work experience, and I was one of these guys who was like, yeah, I'll find a place to do work experience like soon, tomorrow, the next day. Yeah, I'll find. And then it got to the point where like, yeah, Sam, work experience is next week. You don't have anywhere. It was me and this other dude who had done the same shit. We just put it off. So the school basically had to hustle us into work experience, and I ended up in Sainsbury's. So I was stacking shelves in Sainsbury's for work experience, right? And the other dude I was with, funnily enough, he was dating one of my exes. This wasn't like an ex-ex. It was literally just like a silly 13-year-old relationship, which lasted like a month or whatever. But I was stacking these shelves, and funnily enough, like this girl comes into Sainsbury's to, you know, see her boyfriend, and she's like, oh, hey, how you doing? Comes up to me like, oh, Sam, are you going to college? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure yet. She kind of looked at me. I was still stacking these shelves. I was just doing the fucking job. Like, what else is there to do? Just fucking, I'm here to stack shelves. I'm going to stack some fucking shelves. And her boyfriend had this like mentality of like, oh, I don't want to be here, like all stroppy and shit. So she was contrasting that with me. I was just doing the job, and the other dude was like, oh, stacking shelves is gay. And then she looks at me, she goes, are you not bored doing this, Sam? Are you like happy doing this? And I was like, yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's just, I don't know, I'm just stacking some shelves. And then the look she gave me, I'll never forget. She gave me the look of, you're going to be stacking shelves for the rest of your life, buddy. You're not going to go to college, and you're quite happy doing this? Yeah, good luck. You better get used to it, bro. She gave me that look. And now looking at where I've ended up, I find a lot of like humor in that interaction. Because yeah, I didn't go to college, and I was happy. I was content stacking some shelves. It's fucking work experience, just get on with it. And now, for the passion which I used to get bullied for in school, I used to make videos in school and I got bullied for it. For that passion, I've ended up with a lifestyle of freedom, and I live on a beautiful paradise island. And I'm completely free of any fucking bullshit, any bosses yelling at me, any, you know, fucking commute to work. And it's because I didn't go to college, and I just fucking shut up and got on with the job at hand. I didn't make a fucking fuss of it, you know. Your small hustle could be stacking some shelves, man. Get your life experience in. Nothing fucking wrong with it, as long as you don't sell there, you know. And bring in a little bit of money, you know. Put some fucking money to the side. Invest into your actual skill set and your passions, whatever it may be. Just don't dump all of your energy into things like stacking shelves. A lot of people make the mistake after leaving school. They start to make a bit of money, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, cool. I'll sign this contract for this fucking awesome BMW, and I'll pay it off over a 5-year period. And it's like, okay, great, cool. Now you're forced to make money. Otherwise, they're going to take your car away, your precious car, which gets you so much clout. And oh my God, everyone's so impressed that you have a BMW. But now you're trapped. You have traded in your freedom and your autonomy and your ability to actually build a life outside of your stacking shelves job for a BMW. That's a silly thing. Don't do that. Put very limited amounts of energy into your hustle at this point, and focus more on the bigger picture and invest more into that. And maybe after a while you're ready to all in on your passion. Maybe you've been doing it on the side and it's started to pick up, and you start to pick up like some, for example, video editing. You've started to pick up some more clients, and it's like, well shit, okay, I can now quit my fucking stacking shelves job and work from home from my laptop and make much better money doing that. Awesome, amazing. Maybe in your spare time from stacking the shelves, you've bought like some learning product, or you've been watching a fuck ton of YouTube videos and you've learned more about the thing, and you've gone a lot better at it, and now you can charge money for it. Awesome. Essentially, you want to transition away from stacking shelves into going all in on your passion. And specifically, you want your passion to be very marketable. You want it to be like growing in demand, and also just document everything on this journey. Like, imagine if I had just sort of forgotten about the stories that I've told you throughout this video. It would probably resonate a lot less with you. Potentially you relate to my story, and that's giving me credibility to actually give you this advice, because I'm showcasing to you that I actually was in your exact shoes right now. There's no reason to not document everything, okay? Especially if it's painful and it sucks. And then just don't forget that comparing to other people is the complete thief of joy. You don't have to be a millionaire right now. Just because Iman Gadzi started making a fuck ton of money at, I think it's 16, 15, doesn't mean you have to as well. We're all on our own life path. There's people like Robert Greene, who's the fucking critically acclaimed author of 48 Laws of Human Nature, etc. He was just going fucking job to job to job, just random shit, construction, in KFC, just random shit, until finally, God bestowed upon him the opportunity, the authoring opportunity, the publishing opportunity to write a book. And then he wrote 48 Laws of Power, and the rest is history. And he did that at like, I think it was over 50 at that point. We all have our own pathway. Just fucking go along the ride, keep looking out for these opportunities, remain optimistic, and don't compare yourself to other people, because your life experience is fucking unique to you, bro. You don't have to own your fucking baguette just yet, okay? Then once you've started making some peas from your passion project, you want to start investing, specifically more investing into your skill set, because the more you learn, the better you get at your skill, the more money you can charge. And also in experiences. Maybe you want to go to some fucking business mastermind in Dubai or America or something. And then also you want to be investing in specifically your life setup. You want to make your life actually begin to work for you. And it doesn't even have to be flashy. Maybe investing in your life doesn't mean moving to fucking Dubai and buying really nice watches, but it just means investing in like a nicer mattress for you to sleep on so that you can get better quality sleep. Maybe it's just buying nicer clothes which fit you better. Maybe it's investing in a tailor. Essentially, invest into your life setup so that you feel good about being alive. You feel good about waking up and going to work. And a very important thing to know is that you can't save yourself to freedom. You fucking can't. Your money's going to be eaten away by inflation. 10% per year. 10% of your money is gone like that to inflation. So make sure you're always using your money so it works for you. Now, boys, women are inevitable. You're gonna run into a lot of opinions online about how women are massive distractions and like they're just fucking, they're just after you for your money and the dating market's fucked, all this shit. Right now, you have to decide what pathway you want to go down. Do you want to be a bitter person towards women and just go full red pill, spin your fucking plates, contribute to the rampant casual sex scene, and then also simultaneously complain about it, and never really find that one girl which really just sets your heart ablaze? Or you can allow yourself to find that one girl who sets your heart ablaze, but it requires you to not buy into this bullshit. It requires you to not only be disciplined in all areas of your life, including the gym and your business, but also in terms of women. A lot of these guys are really, you know, hard on the fact of like, yeah, you gotta be really disciplined, do the work, guys, yeah. But then when it comes to women, they just fucking cannot help themselves. It's just like, yeah, this fucking, you know, I was out on a night out at 3 a.m. and this fucking 4 out of 10 gave me eyes and I just couldn't help myself, bro. Like, dude. Here's how I navigate women, and it's proven very successful. And it's been challenging at times, you know. We are sinners, we make mistakes, but the difference is you don't see, you know, casual sex as like just an okay thing. It's actually a negative. It's a net negative on your life. So whenever you do it, you should have sort of a slight feeling of, I shouldn't do that again. Rather than most guys who are just like, yeah, whatever, man, I'm just gonna go tell the boys, yeah, and then I did it like this, and I put her in this position and all this shit. It's not something to be proud of. That's essentially the mindset shift that you need. I'm not saying you should never engage in casual sex. I think it's probably inevitable as a man. At some point, you're just gonna see that one girl and you don't really see long-term prospects with her, but she's just got that sort of energy that you really like, and maybe you just wanna feel that energy for that one night, you know. It happens. We're not perfect, we're sinners, but never ever entertain trash. Distinguish the difference between I want to have sex with this girl because I'm just really fucking horny, or it's 3 a.m. on a night out, because there's a major difference between that and seeing a woman who, again, you don't necessarily see long-term prospects with, but you just really like her energy, you know, and you really want to feel that. Be wary of spending time in environments where casual sex is normalized and very easy. The club scene genuinely makes my stomach churn because everything is geared towards sex, which is why when you're invited to a party, you have to bring girls with you. Otherwise, you're not allowed in, because girls are what make the party fun. If it was a club full of guys, it would be the worst club of all time. All of the music is geared towards getting girls to let loose and have a bit of fun, and you're only young once, guys, you know, it's just absolutely garbage. Limit the time you spend in those environments, because if you spend enough time there, you're inevitably going to slip, and you might end up with your MDMA girlfriend. Never chase women, guys. Focus entirely on you and your mission. You've heard this before, but I'm gonna say it again, like, this really works. And you'll find that once you're doing this, the girl of your dreams will actually find you. She'll appear in your life somewhere, and because you've not been too busy shopping at McDonald's, you're actually able to see the steak. you understand. If you're too busy entertaining McDonald's, you will not be able to see when a steak enters your life. And this is one of the things that a lot of men don't understand. To truly find a good girl, you need to actually value her. And if you're too busy having sex with these girls over here, and you're not willing to sacrifice your primal desire to have sex with other women, you're gonna have a much harder time seeing your good girl, seeing her. You won't even notice her. And boys, during your time away from school, and during school, hopefully, you want to be working on your mind, your body, and your soul. I know many men who literally just get their foot in the door to like highly valuable networks simply because they have a really good physique. Your body will get you places, literally and figuratively. So you have to look after it. And I suggest that in terms of your physique, you play to your strengths. Don't buy into someone else's idea of what the dream physique is. Play to your strengths. I wish someone told me this a long time ago. This is something I've only recently learned. If you have an athletic build and you have a hard time putting on weight, do calisthenics, do fighting. You can gain just as much respect from doing those things as you would trying to gain fucking 10 kg, for example. And guys, your mind regulates your body, so you need to protect your peace and cut the crap. Cut all of the bullshit, man. You don't want to be looking at your fucking TikTok feed and just brain rot fucking League of Legends streams and stuff. Just cut that shit out, because it's sapping away your energy, and frankly, it's much more productive being bored sometimes. Like, just being bored allows you to think like, why am I bored? Why am I not on a fucking tropical island in Thailand driving a jet ski right now, you know? Maybe I should fucking do something about that. And just really quick, I'm not going to go into spirituality, because I found that until you've ticked the finances box, it's much harder to get people to sort of listen to me in terms of spirituality. But I'm just saying to be open to it, whether it's religion or like some sort of meditation. Be open to the idea, because you'll be surprised how you've been conditioned into believing that spirituality is all hocus pocus bullshit, when the reality is there's a lot of untapped power there which you can tap into at any time. And there's no right or wrong answer with spirituality. It's completely up to you. It's your journey. God bless you. I'm just telling you that you should be open to it. And guys, family. Family's a big one. It's a big pain point for a lot of people, including me. If you are absolutely fucking blessed. A lot of people talk about white privilege, straight privilege, whatever the fuck. Truly, the best privilege you can have is having a good family unit. If you are blessed to have a good family, leverage the fuck out of your family. Stay in the house with them, keep your expenses low, and figure out what you want to do and build from there. And if you're not blessed to have the greatest family, try your very best to make it work, because I shit you not, it is a massive advantage having a family which you can lean on, keep your expenses low, and again, to just figure out what you're trying to fucking do in this world. However, if you can't make it work, which I failed to do, I couldn't make it work, I could not function at any sort of, you know, performing state in my family's home, then you have to leave. You actually do have to leave. You have to take on the world, because I'll speak for myself. In my family home environment, I was fucking useless. I had no mental clarity. I was not productive. I couldn't do anything, you know, of any sort of meaning there. And if you're in that position, I really feel for you, because for you to actually be able to build something, you do need to get out of that environment, and that gives you a lot more pressure. But I want you to also remember that diamonds are made under pressure. I believe in you, and you need to understand that once you leave school, life will test you. And a lot of people say that, you know, school is the best time of your life, and oh man, I wish I was back in school. It's not the case. School is absolute fucking trash. It's only the best time of your life if you leave school and go on to live a very below average existence. Gaining freedom and autonomy and building towards things which you're passionate about, not things which your teacher has told you that you need to be passionate about, is far more fruitful, far more fun, far more fulfilling. My life has never been better. And the fact is, if you're watching videos like this, you're actually at a major advantage. I was not conscious enough to be watching videos like this when I was your age, so struggle on, struggler. I believe in you. Just remember what I've told you in this video. Maybe put it in your favorites. Subscribe to the channel for more daily videos like this. And if you want my help in achieving a lifestyle of freedom, you can check the first link in the description. Take care, boys.